Buenos dias, and welcome to another episode of Bloodhouse, the show where we talk about art house horror films. I'm your host, Joshua Conkle.
And I'm your co-hostess with a scalpel, Drusilla Adeline. How are you doing this week, Josh?
I'm good. I am, as soon as we're done with this recording, I am packing the Fiat, packing the dog, and I'm going to a cabin in the woods by myself to finish my horror screenplay that's late, which I did not consider how scary that might be. But...
To go write a horror screenplay alone in a cabin in the woods? Sounds perfect.
Yeah.
I don't see any, fear in there. You look great. This outfit you're wearing looks incredible.
Oh, thanks. This is a new shirt. I decided to wear it for you. Just bring a little sunshine. It's a bright yellow striped shirt.
You look like you're about to go on a little beach vacation in that shirt.
Yeah, it's like from a beach, resort wear brand that Instagram sold me on. I don't know what it is about the past year. I've always been like a dark colors kind of person, but lately I've been really feeling emerald greens. I've been feeling mustards. I've been feeling
They look
yellows.
Great on you.
Thank you so much.
That's the summer
How
goth
are you?
look. I'm doing well today, but I've been through a hell of a week.
Oh no.
On Monday, I took my car in just to get an oil change. And, little did she know, for listeners who don't know, I have a very old Jaguar, and I'm very proud of it, and it's very great, but it demands upkeep.
Her name is Griselda.
Her name
Isn't that right?
Her name is Grimsdyke.
Grimsdyke, sorry.
Which is even cooler. And so I was like, all right, fine, oil change. And then midway through the day while I was getting an oil change, which should not take very long, the guy called me up and was like, oh, you need to get front brake pads. And I was like, okay, fine. We'll get new brake pads. A little bit more, not that bad, fine. And he was like, yep, we'll just do that tomorrow. And I was like, well, I'm not going to be on the west side tomorrow. He's like, okay, we can hold it for you for another day. You can pick it up on Wednesday. And I was like, lovely, great, a delight. I picked up Wednesday morning, and it sounded like a muscle car. It sounded like a lawnmower. It sounded freaking insane. And I was like, this is not okay. This is not right. What did you do to my exhaust? What did you do to my car? And they're like, well, we can't look at it today. Bring it back tomorrow. And I was like, the fuck? So I brought it back first thing Thursday morning. They took a look at it and were like, yup, looks like someone tried to steal your catalytic converter, which that's a thing that's been going around.
That happened under their watch, though?
Yup. But they were like, oh, it looks like they didn't take the whole thing. It looks like they just hacked at your exhaust. There's a great muffler place around the corner from here. Go there. They'll figure it out. Very pissed off, but I drove it over there. We put it up on the lift. It's got underneath the car. As soon as we looked underneath, the entire underside was gutted. Jesus. The exhaust line was gutted. The catalytic converter was stolen. And so I got a quote on what it would cost to repair all of that, and it was insanely expensive on the last week of the month right before I had to make rent. And I fought with the first mechanic because it happened on his lot. They broke into his, because he parked it right in front of the gate.
They've got to be insured for that kind of thing, you would imagine.
You would imagine they would be. I think that it's very common in the city. And they have a pretty low wall fence around their property. There's no razor wire or anything. Apparently there's no cameras either. And so I called them up very angry and very insisting that they foot the fucking bill. To which he informed me that, no, this happens frequently, and because of that, they have a liability waiver in all of their invoices.
Oh my god.
So the moment you pay, and the moment you sign the invoice, you have signed, before they can give you your keys so you can check your car, you've signed away any liability to any damages happening on their property.
That's so fucked
fucked up. So if you're in Southern California and you're listening to this, do not go to Mitchell's British Automotive in Culver City. Fuck those guys.
Fuck you, Mitchell.
Fuck you.
Go fuck yourself, Mitchell.
Also, he was super, that man, the entire time I was going through all of that. was just misgendering me the entire time. So double fuck you, you piece of shit.
I know that it's rad that you have a 1987 black Jaguar, but do you ever think that you'll like just get a Prius?
Fuck no.
Ew. Or a Kia Picante?
Ew. No. I mean, I've never owned a car that was built before the turn of the century. I've never owned a pre-2000 car.
Wow.
I can't. Okay. If I was gonna get, I would maybe get like a Nissan Leaf. If I was gonna get something that was like, an EV car, non-gas car. But like, I would rather just have an older classic car, and then when I have money someday, the classic American dream of one day I'll be wealthy. That never happens to most of us.
Yeah, exactly.
Just replace the engine with an electric engine. That's my dream. It's just to fuck over every like car fetishist and collector and be like, I took the engine out. I replaced it with an electric engine, you fuckers.
That's the thing for me. I can be very materialistic in some ways. I like style a lot. I like clothes. I like interior design. But cars are something that I just truly don't get. Like, I do not care about cars at all. And my friends' cars and my boyfriend's cars, I can't even spot. Like, I'll walk right by it and they'll be like, Josh, this is the car. Because I just, like, truly don't. I can't tell you what kind of car
you get car blindness.
Yeah, totally. I totally do. Unless it's something really unusual, then it's like a blur to me. I have the shittiest car in the entire world. And when I bought it, I'll be frank, I was doing very well financially. And I was like, I'm just going to buy the cheapest car I can possibly find. And now it's like covered in dents and it's just like a horrible car.
I mean, if you live in Los Angeles, you just need a car. You don't need a good car. It's true. I was raised in the Midwest, specifically in Indiana, where car culture is very big. I mean, the Indy 500 is the thing there for a reason. To a family that worked on cars. Like, even my, like, gay second cousin who's, like, only comes around for occasional events because he's not, like, he doesn't enjoy my family, he moved away. Even he, lives in Detroit and writes car reviews for a living.
That's crazy. I mean, my stepdad did build Mustangs from scratch as a hobby. He had like two 70s Mustangs. Cool. I mean, I don't know. I guess I get it. I just don't care about it for myself. I love it. I like to look at a beautiful car like anybody. But
I mean, I'm the same. I'm an aesthete. I like things to look very good. I like to express myself in a very stylistic way. And for me, like, if you live in Los Angeles, you're driving your car everywhere. That is your first impression. So...
yeah,
I like to let people know who, and also like, man, when you drive through Hollywood or you drive through anything in a even slightly like nice or older car, like you get eyes on you all the time. It's super fun.
That's how I feel when I walk my dog Edie, because everyone stops and like, oh, what kind of dog is that? Like, she's so beautiful, and it's like she's really a people magnet. I will say, as much as I say I don't care about cars, when I worked on Dead Boy Detectives, I would park my car really far away on the lot because I didn't want any of the other writers to see how shitty my car was. So I'm kind of bullshit.
I mean, I get that. When I worked at DreamWorks years ago as a script intern, I had a shitty, like, piece of shit, like, 98 Volvo that was, like, covered in, like, Clash bumper stickers and, like, had a mismatched hood and stuff like that. And I would park it on the, like, DreamWorks, like, Universal backlot under, like, all the canopy trees where, like, Steven Spielberg and all those people park their cars. And it was, like, 2015, 2016, and it was, like, Tesla, like, brand new, first off the lot Teslas. No one had ever seen them in public before. And then my shitty little Volvo. And I was like, every morning I'd try to like hide it as far back as I could, not to be noticed. Because I thought people would be like, that car doesn't belong here. Whoever that is, like, throw them out.
I feel like our queer goth nerdy audience is like, why have they spent 10 minutes talking about cars?
Because queer goths can also love cars. As a car gay, I must say, I take offense. I take umbrage.
Have you seen anything cool?
You know what? Despite a shitty week, I've seen some incredible movies. But the main one that I want to talk about and I want to sing the praises of, because it's available everywhere, in the United States at least, and it's fucking incredible and it deserves as much love and praise heaped upon it that it can get, is Rob Zombie's The Munsters.
Oh, really? Interesting.
I fucking loved that movie.
Okay,
so
say
much.
more about it.
So, like everyone, I was incredibly skeptical as to what that, when it was like announced that Rob Zombie would be doing The Munsters, I was like, oh, I'm sold. That's going to be great. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And then as the marketing rollout has gone through and they've dropped like stills and like the poster and the trailer, I was like, ooh, this looks bad. And I think everyone kind of uniformly like groaned when the trailer dropped of like, oh,
yeah, that trailer was something else.
This looks gnarly. The movie, on the other hand, is a fucking delight. It is beautifully crafted. Rob Zombie has eschewed his like grimy Texas Chainsaw Massacre aesthetic for a like candy colored Mario Bava look. And has just leaned into the 60s camp comedy of the original TV show and movies, and then populated it with all of his regular actors like Jeff Daniel Phillips, Robert Brake, who is terrifying, and listeners might know him as being the dude from Barbarian and 31.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And of course Sherry Moon Zombie, and all of them giving very silly, very delightful camp performances, very much rooted in old Hammer horror movies, nods to Universal horror movies from the 30s and 40s, a lot of love given to Dario Argento and Mario Bava movies, and like Scooby-Doo, and like this just beautiful camp celebration of horror. The majority of the movie takes place in Transylvania, so everything's lit wild and crazy and insane. Lots of greens and purples. Lots of very old school special effects that are so charming and so delightful. When much of the movie is spent around building Herman Munster as a Frankenstein creation. And then Lily Munster's poor dating life as your typical 150-year-old vampire, and dealing with her father, the Count, aka Grandpa. And then it's just them falling in love. So all of the tropes that would be used for mad scientist freaking out with lightning bolts behind him very quickly turns into the exact same thing, but hearts falling around Lily and Herman as they fall in love with each other. And it's so goofy, and it's so silly, and it's such a delight. If you like the 90s Addams Family movies, if you like the Munsters, if you like the 60s Munsters, the film or the black and white TV show, this is absolutely for you. It feels like if Mario Bava was allowed to make a Marx Brothers movie.
Interesting.
It's very silly, it's very goofy. It's very colorful. There's like no plot. It doesn't need a plot. You're just hanging out with these characters. Cassandra Peterson, aka Elvira, is in it.
We love that.
Playing a Southern California real estate agent.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
It's an absolute delight. It's so much fun. Don't watch the trailer. It's on Netflix. Just go give it a watch. It's super campy and delightful. Watching all of these people who have spent years devoting themselves to being the scariest possible people they can be and just playing demented fucking freaks, and then turning around and playing just silly, goofy, like, lovelorn goons is so sweet. I thought it was a fucking delight. Everyone who's hating on it, I don't get it. Like, I just love fun and monsters and cobwebs and goop and bright, silly colors. It hit me exactly where I needed it. I poured myself a bowl of Count Chocula and had a blast.
Well, I really trust your taste, so I might have to give it a watch. There's no part of me that wants to watch that, and I normally wouldn't on my own accord, but maybe I'll try it.
It's super, if you want like a cute, like Saturday morning, like something to get like into the Halloween mood, and you don't want to watch
Mhm.
Hocus Pocus 2 because Bette Midler's a transphobic piece of shit, check out the
Forgot about that.
Munsters.
Yeah. Well, God, speaking of Hocus Pocus, first of all, I enjoy Hocus Pocus an appropriate amount, but I don't understand like the status that that movie has
Me
earned as someone who is
neither.
like maybe a smidge too old for it. I saw someone tweet yesterday like try to name a single better Halloween movie than Hocus Pocus, and I was like, I don't know. Halloween comes to mind,
Trick or
but
treat?
also literally any
Anything?
horror film ever made. It's just so mind-boggling.
I mean, it's a
Speaking,
spooky Disney movie for millennials who aren't into horror.
it's cute. Yeah, it's a cute movie, and
I
that's
saw
it.
it at as a child. Like I'm born in the 90s. I'm the peak demographic for that movie. I thought it was whatever as a kid. I'd never revisited it until a year or two ago when an ex made me watch that at Halloween Town together. And I was like,
Yeah,
"Oh, these are both bad. Like these are both very lame." And the amount of like fat jokes sent towards Kathy Najimy throughout all of Hocus Pocus and the
yeah.
dumb blonde jokes around Sarah Jessica Parker, like it's not fun, guys.
I I believe I was 13 when it came out, so I was like questionably a little too old. But I
Mhm.
did watch it and think like, oh, this is a cute movie, and then kind of never thought of it again until 10 or 15 years later when it suddenly became this like cult thing out of nowhere.
It's so
Um,
wild. I don't understand. Like, I don't know. I think there's cuter Halloween movies out there. I also think there's like fun, gorier, better Halloween movies out there. I feel like
yeah,
there's other things that do what people get out of this better. And if they want to delve into the depths of watching Munster Go Home or watching Bell Book and Candle or a myriad of other cute, charming, delightful,
Practical
safe PG
Magic
horror
is a
movies,
great.
there's even more out
Yeah,
there.
totally. Disney's Watcher in the Woods, which is one that's criminally
Oh,
slept on and is
with
so
Betty
good.
Davis.
Yeah, such a
I need
great
to see
movie.
that still.
It's really good. I, speaking of Halloween,
Hmm.
was quote lucky enough to be invited to an early screening of a movie that rhymes with Schmalamine Benz, which I like the new trilogy 3 stars worth.
Three
So
stars
I
worth.
was
Oh, that's
yeah,
rude.
like it's fine. It's fun enough. It does the job. It does the job.
Mhm.
He even was an apologist for the middle movie Halloween
Really,
Kills.
everyone hates Halloween Kills.
I know. To be frank, I think I only liked it because I went to the premiere and
Mm.
it was at that moment. It was like the first movie I'd seen in a theater for 2 years. And it was a packed audience full of people who love horror films. Jamie Lee Curtis gave a
Oh,
curtain speech before the movie. So it was just very special. And I think that colored my vision of the movie. This movie is so completely bewildering, and every choice that it makes is so bizarre that I was like, what is happening right now? Because the first two movies, I know that you haven't seen them,
no, no, I have not.
they take great efforts to set both movies on the same night. So you're just getting this like insane, train ride of a movie that's all in one night, sort of like Halloween and Halloween 2 kind
Hmm.
of feeling. This movie starts 4 years later. Lori has decided to put it all behind her, and she's no longer a revenge granny. She's now like baking muffins and having cute crushes on people. And it's like, what is happening? Like, why? Who on earth would make this insane choice? It makes no sense.
Is it
Um,
still being made by
but
David Gordon Green and Danny McBride?
yes, it's the
Okay.
same people. It's just completely, the choices are bewildering. None of the characters feel connected to the characters in the other two movies. It feels like they've just been completely reinvented. It does have a really cool third act, and it does have a really cool soundtrack all of a sudden. It has like a lot of the Cramps and
Ooh.
new artists like Boy Harsher and
Ooh. Hell yeah.
yeah, Boy Harsher's all in it. And it's directed very well in terms of how it's like edited and filmed, but it's just like the script is baffling and the choices are bewildering. But I did wash that bad taste of that out of my mouth with this great movie on Shudder called Soul Survivor from 1984 that
Mm.
we texted about.
Yep.
Can't recommend it highly enough. It was this really hard to find movie until recently when Shudder put it out. I think it's made it feels like it's from the 70s, but the release date says 1984. and it stars one of the girls from Girlfriends, which is one of my favorite non-horror 70s art house movies. And it is one of the inspiration points for both It Follows and the Final Destination franchise. And it's super stylish, very deliberately paced, which I love, and I know that some people don't. But if you like that, you'll love it. It's on Shudder, Soul Survivor, A+. I loved it.
I need to check it out. It's been recommended to me a few times now because people know how much I adore Carnival of Souls, and they're like, it's like a 70s Carnival of Souls.
Very much so. Yeah.
So like I know the twist because of that, theoretically, but I still really, really want to see the movie because it looks like a freaking delight.
It's really cool. The style of it is really cool. So shall we talk about this movie?
Let's talk about this movie.
I'm so curious to hear your thoughts on this.
I'm very excited to talk about it because it's a very odd film in many respects. And I,
to say the least,
I've seen it many times. And I still grapple with it. So,
okay. Well, this is from 2011, directed by the legendary Pedro Almodovar, and it is called "The Skin I Live In." So right away, we will be doing spoilers for this. It is basically impossible to have any sort of interesting discussion of this without getting into spoilers. So just so you know, if you are bothered by that, go watch the movie and then come back.
It's been out for 10 years. It's Almodovar. What are you waiting for? Go see this movie. It's very good.
So I thought that I had seen this. I thought that I saw this in the theater in college. And then when I looked at the release, when I started the movie, I think I was like, oh, I'm thinking of Talk to Her. Because Talk to Her came out when I was in college, and I saw that in the theater, and it was my first Pedro Almodovar movie.
I love Talk to Her. Talk to Her. I always talk about Skin I Live In as like being like rare in his canon, as being like the only time he delved into horror. But I'm like, oh yeah, Talk to Her is like a melodrama, but it's almost a thriller. Like it gets fucked up.
Yeah. So I had never seen this until last night.
Really?
I did not know the twist. I did not know anything about it going into it. And I really enjoyed it. So I'm curious to hear what you think.
Yeah. As the person who was like, let's watch this movie.
Like basically, were you setting me up for a trap? Do you like hate this movie?
No, I love this movie.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm a huge Almodovar fan. Huge. I got into him in like 2016, around the time I moved to Los Angeles, which was around the time that Julieta was like going to be coming out. So the Cine family, may it rest in grime, was doing a retrospective of all of his movies, and I was seeing as many of them in theaters as I could. I either missed Skin I Live In, or I didn't want to wait to see it down the line in their schedule, so I watched it myself on like my laptop. Also had no clue what it was. I'd remember hearing about it when it was nominated at the Golden Globes back in 2011, 2012. And I just remember being like, oh, that one where Antonio Banderas plays a surgeon. Whatever. I was shocked to discover that it's a modern take on Georges Franju's Eyes Without a Face, but like amplified and pushed so much further beyond that. It really shocked me. I didn't know what the twist was. I found it both like delightful and fucked up at the same time. And years have gone by now since the first time I've seen it. And this was rewatching it for this podcast was the first time I'd watched it since then. And I still have a difficult time grappling it as a piece of queer media. But I still think it's a very well-made, important art house horror film, and I think it should be seen and discussed more. And I think Almodovar is one of the only people who could possibly have made this movie. Granted, I would have loved a trans filmmaker to make a film like this. However, Almodovar gave it to us, and you know what? Good enough. He made All About My Mother. He made Law of Desire. He made great trans films. We'll take this one.
So the synopsis for this, as best as I can do, is that we open on a world-renowned plastic surgeon played by Antonio Banderas. His name is Dr. Robert Ledgard, and he is giving a talk about how he's invented a new kind of skin, which he's called Gal, after his dead wife. And this skin is less permeable to damage. Mosquitoes won't bite it. It's harder to cut, et cetera, et cetera. He claims he's invented it by experimenting on mice, but we quickly learn that he's actually got a woman trapped in a room in his house named Vera, and he's been developing it on her. The movie comes in and out of time, so you discover that he's lived through this tragedy. His wife has died after being a burn victim that he tries to work on. His daughter has died. And through flashbacks and flash forwards, you learn that this woman in his house, Vera, was actually a man named Vincente who raped the doctor's daughter. And the doctor kidnapped this man, forcibly changed his gender, his sex, and has now been living with this female version of him, Vera, and is falling in love with him. And his only friend is his housekeeper,
Marissa
Mariela.
Yeah.
Who he doesn't know is actually his mother. So it's got this melodrama element. I'm just like swimming around trying to describe this movie, but it's hard to do.
It's very much Almodovar does Eyes Without a Face. So there's a doctor in the country with his one female assistant who's older and kind of takes care of him. And he keeps a mysterious woman locked away in his beautiful Gothic but modern mansion that he operates on. And the secret is he's forcibly transgender. She has kind of given up escaping, it seems, until there is a break-in at the house, and there is home invasion takes place, which gets super fucked up super fast. And it changes the dynamics of the home life between the doctor, the kept Vera, and the housekeeper, secret mother of the doctor.
And of the home invader. So the home invader is this man in a tiger costume, because it's Carnival when this happens. And he is on the run because he's a jewel thief, which is so chic.
This movie is a lot. It's incredible.
Yeah. He mistakes Vera for somebody else, the doctor's ex-wife, who apparently he also slept with back in the day. Oh, and that's the thing. Vera looks very much like a younger version of the doctor's dead wife. So this man sexually assaults Vera and then is killed by the doctor. And we also learn that this man secretly is our housekeeper's other son. So she was the mother to both our main character and this assailant. It's a lot. It's
a lot. And so ultimately it comes down to, is this a Beauty and the Beast scenario? Is Vera slowly falling in love with her captor, Antonio Banderas? Or is something else going on?
And we don't know for a long time after this, probably halfway through the movie, that Vera used to be Vincente. And I'm a little unsure how to even talk about these characters in terms of character names and pronouns and all of that, because it's not like the character's transgender. Like, this all happens against Vincente's will.
Yes. And that's the big sticking point of this movie.
Yes.
So, as a trans individual, which also we should point out that Vincente and Vera are played by two different actors.
Yes, the actress who plays Vera is a cis woman.
Yes.
And Vincente is a cis man.
Yes.
Presumably.
Yeah, presumably. So it's a very sticky film. It's a very interesting take on doing a trans horror film. And so a few things. The narrative of this idea of being like kidnapped and like having your gender operated on against your will to like pay for a crime that's been committed is such a fucking like forced feminization fetish thing.
Mm-hmm.
it's fucking funny to me to see because I know Almodovar's aware of that. I know he's fucking aware of that. As a very prominent queer art filmmaker and like trans filmmaker and like friend of trans individuals, and who's been very, very, very sympathetic to portrayals of trans individuals in his films for the past 30 plus years. All About My Mother is like the only one you need to look at for that. It's fucking incredible. It also stars Marissa Paradis from this film. So he's playing into this fetish trope to turn it into an art horror film, which already is fucking nuts and hilarious to me. But then if you look at the characters of Vicente and Vera and this concept of being forcibly inhabiting a body and a gender that is not your own, and you're looking at that as horror, which, you know, as someone who's done that in my life, yeah, it's pretty fucking horrifying. It's pretty fucking bad. I've kind of always partially viewed this as a trans mask horror film.
Mm-hmm.
Of, like, if you look at it through the lens of this is Vicente and he's stuck in this female body that he does not want to be in, it's why it's so, like, fascinating and more complex than it seems on the surface. Just dismissing this movie as being, like, vile and transphobic and offensive is, like, really reductive and lazy.
I think I agree.
I think there's a lot more going on here, and I don't think there's any kind of moralizing. I don't think Almodovar is transphobic in any way, shape, or form. I don't think this movie is either. I just think this movie is taking a very vicious look at masculinity and warping it to a certain degree. Because every single man in this movie is not a good guy. Like,
no.
Vicente's a rapist. Like, no matter how you feel about Vera as a captive, Vicente rapes Antonio Banderas' daughter, and Antonio Banderas is fucking insane himself. And the only other man in the movie is also fucking insane and a rapist. And there are a few scenes of intimacy between Vera and Antonio Banderas throughout this film, which can be construed as rape. Mm-hmm. Even though it is verbally consensual from Vera, it is still under the auspices of she is being held captive against her will in this house with this man. He has a great deal of power over her. It would take a lot to convince me that that's consensual. So, every man in this film is a rapist. That's, like, baseline.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, one of the readings of this that I think is a little reductive is that the doctor is punishing Vicente by changing his sex because he thinks, and implicitly, by proxy, the filmmaker thinks that being a woman is worse than being a man. So this is a punishment. I think that's reductive. I mean, as a queer artist who writes almost exclusively about women, I think it's very clear to me that Pedro Almodovar loves women and hates men.
Yes.
And so I think my take of this was that by doing this to Vicente, it's a punishment in a way, but not in the way that these people say. It's a punishment because he's like, you were going to feel like, you're going to understand now what it feels like to be a woman in the world. You know, like he's doing this to punish him, but also make him understand what it feels like to be a woman. And weirdly, Vicente, the man, is a piece of shit and Vera isn't. So it kind of works in a weird way where it's like the character Vera is a much better person than Vicente was.
Mm-hmm. But
I don't know. It just feels very clear to me that the movie loves women and hates men. So that argument
truly,
really
Vera is so much stronger and better as a person than Vicente ever was.
Yeah.
And there's also, I mean, a few other things. There's also the question of like we know very little about Vincente before all of this. And there's even a question of Vincente's gender early on too. He works for his mother and her lesbian assistant who's around his age. Yeah, at a dress shop.
Making scarecrow mannequins or something really weird.
Making scarecrow mannequins and like sewing dresses for his mother's shop, and he's constantly like giving dresses to the lesbian shop assistant in a way of like flirting with her, kind of, and she keeps being like, those would look better on you. And he's like, I don't know. And he's like kind of bisexually read a little bit too. It's very, he's intentionally sketched very lightly as a character beforehand so that what happens later in the film and who we know primarily as Vera can kind of like, I don't know, it's not that harsh of a read. It's a little bit smoother of a transition. It's a very unfortunate word to use. But additionally, I don't think there is that justification of Antonio Banderas is punishing this person. And to a degree, he is intentionally kidnapping and holding this person against his will.
Yeah.
And forcing him through
also,
things as revenge for his daughter. However,
I think it starts as revenge and it very quickly turns into something else.
Yes.
It does not remain revenge.
It's
very long.
Revenge only to the point I'm holding you captive and fucking with you. But it also, like, it is twofold past that of he also wants a guinea pig for the skin cell treatment that he's working on.
Yeah.
So cool, I've got a kidnapped kid in my basement, or teenager, fucking 20-something, whatever. Perfect. A. B, I kidnapped this kid. If anyone comes looking for him, I'll make him look different. And C, I miss my dead wife. Let's make him look like my dead wife.
Yeah. And since you mentioned the dress shop, when we see Vincente with his working in his mom's dress shop, he's very dismissive of his mother and the helper who works there. He's very flip about what they do in the shop. He's very flip about them as women. Really, he's very dismissive of their ideas and thoughts and feelings. And so it's very interesting that at the end of this, he returned the last scene is him returning to the dress shop and seeing his mother and this woman as Vera for the first time. And it's very emotional. It ends with him seeing them as equals. And so that's not an accident.
No, it's very
this journey that this character goes through is not one. I want to just read you this Letterboxd review that I found because I went on to see like what people were saying. So I'm not going to say this user's name, of course, but I'll skip the intro paragraph, which is just belligerent and angry. This is a movie about a guy who punishes his daughter's rapist by, quote, turning him into a woman. 1, you can't actually change someone's gender without their consent because your genitals aren't your fucking gender. 2, if you could change someone's gender without their consent, that would be fucking horrifying, like as horrifying as rape. 3, you, Banderas' character, are pretty implicitly planning to repeatedly rape this person as a punishment for ... rape. Your sense of justice is odd. 4, you, the filmmaker, are implicitly informing the audience that you consider being a woman to be a punishment, so thanks for that, asshole. And 5, thank you also for the ridiculously graphic rape scenes. That was definitely very necessary. Sarcasm. I just found that so reductive. And some of these, like, the movie just isn't doing at all, and this person is laying that on. Rape scene, you can feel however you want about rape scenes.
However, yes, there's one very violent depiction of sexual assault in this. There's one later upsetting depiction of sexual assault that it turns violent, but is not nearly as violent as the first. And the later with Antonio Banderas are more coerced sexual encounters. They're all upsetting, but none of them are shot and photographed in an exploitative way.
Yeah.
None of them are stylized. None of them are focusing on the sex act. None of them are focusing on genitalia. All of those sex scenes are focusing on the emotion of the woman in each of them.
Yeah. I mean, point one, you can't change someone's gender without their consent because your genitals aren't your fucking gender. Correct. That's true. But also, this movie doesn't even. That's not a question, and the movie's not concerned with that at all.
No.
Two, if you could change someone's gender without their consent, that would be fucking horrifying. Like, as horrifying as rape. Correct. That's the horror in this movie.
That's exactly the movie.
That. Yeah, like, I don't know. It just feels like such, obviously trans issues are incredibly fraught and complicated, and there's a lot of discrimination, of course, that trans people face, and so it just felt like there was a lot of moralizing around the subject in regards to this movie that has actually nothing to do with the movie and what the movie is doing, and more to do with those critics and viewers, which I understand, I guess. But
yeah, and also this movie was made in 2011 at a point in which trans issues, especially trans surgical issues, were not openly talked about in the United States.
No.
At all. Like, it was at least 2 or 3 more years before that became an, like, openly discussed topic of conversation in America.
Yes. Although, at the same time, Almodovar makes melodramas, and there is a legacy, both in melodramas, telenovelas, and soap operas, as well as in queer theater and places like that, where a character is revealed to be secretly trans. Like, come back to the Five and Dime, Jimmy Dean, a lot of Fassbender's films, a lot of soap operas, frankly. It's a story. So it's also in conversation with the melodrama tradition as well.
Come back to the Five and Dime, Jimmy Dean, not to get off the point, is one of my favorite trans depictions in any film ever. Oh,
beautiful, beautiful play, and the film adaptation is absolutely
heartbreaking. It's fucking incredible. Speaking of the trans history that is informing this film, Antonio Banderas dubs her Vera midway through this transition process, which I should also note, other than a vaginoplasty, which takes place in this movie, which takes place first before anything else happens to Vincente, which, holy shit, which they bring these other surgeons in to operate, and all these other surgeons are like, we're doing that first? That's,
there's no hormone treatments or anything?
They're like, that's, and Antonio Banderas is like, it's hush-hush, they paid a lot, this is what they're getting. And they're like, okay. And his story is that, like, oh yeah, Vincente paid for that, and he's now working in the porn industry out in Los Angeles, making lots of money, and I'm like, I buy that.
Yeah, totally. Totally. I mean, his excuse, I think, was that Vincente didn't actually want to change genders, he just wanted to use his word, a cunt.
Yes.
Like,
hysterical.
Yeah.
But he dubs Vincente Vera, and then Vera later in the movie uses the full name Vera Cruz, which is a very specific name. It recalls the Western film with Burt Lancaster, and more specifically, in terms of trans history, Burt Lancaster alone, who was a closeted bisexual and potentially trans individual, based on reports from loved ones and friends. Specifically, the quote from Myra Breckinridge, famous trans character of both novel and screen, who says, quote, "The last vestiges of manhood died with Burt Lancaster and Vera Cruz." It's an incredibly intentional and potent name. That is both partially chosen by Antonio Banderas and partially chosen by Vera. And every day Vera is delivered food and books via a dumbwaiter to her locked room, where she only has a TV with 3 channels and nothing else. And
she discovers yoga that way.
She discovers yoga and the Nature Channel, and that's it.
Yeah.
And so presumably they send her up like a new book every day, and she's got a stack of books. So, like, I think she's read Myra Breckinridge canonically.
I think so. I think we can we can safely say that that is the case.
This movie is also very much in conversation with Myra Breckinridge, and I inadvertently rewatched Myra Breckinridge this week, and wow, they make an incredible double bill.
I need to rewatch that. I'm due for it's been decades.
It's one of my favorite movies.
I was in high school, probably.
It has a super upsetting ending, but that's because it was written by Gore Vidal, a misogynist, and directed by Michael Sarn, a homophobic misogynist. So the final 5 minutes suck ass, but everything else is incredible. And talk about a very conflicting rape scene in that movie as well.
I also want to say, we don't really know to what extent Vera has accepted this sex change, because she's using it turns out, as a means of escape. So once this home intruder has sexually assaulted her, she's allowed to leave the basement. She's kind of more of a part of things. The housekeeper takes her shopping. And also the housekeeper the whole time is warning him, like, she's going to kill you if you don't kill her. Which turns out to be true.
Because women are better than men in this movie, and always.
In all ways. And so Vera is making the doctor fall in love with her. So we don't know that whole time, including up until the ending, how much she has really embraced this new body and gender, or if this is a means of escape. We don't know. That's an open question. So again, the question comes up of like, is this person transgender, or has this been forced upon them? And if this is, can a person be transgender if it's forced? Like, all of those sorts of like ethical questions around the issue still come up. Yeah,
it's really, really, really fascinating. I think one of the most important things to that question, to at least like, it's because it's a very emotional ending, but it's not a very like narratively
very soft ending.
It's a very touching ending, because this movie is so cold and detached and vicious the entire time, but as soon as we start getting flashbacks, we get much more pathos for Antonio Banderas' character, the horrible things that have happened to the women in his life, and then even more for Vera Vincente, because as time passes, you see Vincente's mother going to the police and like being like, my son is missing. My son's not dead. Like, and it's heartbreaking. Yeah. And it is a piece of, in the newspaper about like still missing individuals, with a photo of Vincente and a caption that says his mother is still looking for him, that prompts Vera to make her final move towards escape.
Yeah.
But when Vera finally escapes, spoiler alert, she gets away. She gets away, and she has full autonomy for the first time in the entire movie. She chooses to put on makeup and to put on the dress from the last time she saw her mother and the other woman in the shop. Yeah. She chooses to present herself that way.
You're right.
I feel like this would be a very different movie and a very different discussion. Maybe the trans mask horror reading would fit if this movie ended with Vera wiping away the makeup, cutting the hair, and presenting as close to Vincente as detransitioning. Vera doesn't.
No.
The final line of the movie is "I'm Vincente," which Vera says to the mother. But I think it's less of a self-identifying line and more of a like identifying for the mother line. Because she even identifies herself to the other shopkeeper as saying, "I'm Vera now."
Yeah.
So it seems like Vera has accepted, in my reading, it seems like Vera has accepted this. And again, having seen almost the entire body of Almodovar's career, I think. There's some short films I haven't seen. Knowing that in the like flashbacky setup for this movie, midway through, that like Vincente is flirting with the other shopkeeper woman who's like very close with his mother and is around his age, but she's a lesbian, she's not interested in him, and then Vera arrives at the end of the movie, a woman now. There's I feel Almodovar like giggling behind the camera of like they're gonna get together. Like
Yeah. What is Almodovar, speaking of his body of work, what are his mommy issues exactly? Like
that
every
boy
single
has
movie
big mommy issues.
is about mommies, including this one. Like every single movie.
This movie
I don't know
has
his
two
personal
mommies
story.
in it, and oof,
Yeah.
those poor mommies, both of them. Yeah, even Pain and Glory, which was the one
Which I
which is
love.
incredible, and is his
Loved
most
that.
autobiographical film. Is both about his like aging and his addiction to opioid medication following his some illnesses, but also about his childhood and about his mother. Like that boy has some serious mom issues, and
Yeah.
every single one of his films either has like a matriarchal character or like some kind of severe like All About My Mother is the most beautiful depiction of this,
Yeah.
where all of these women are incredible and beautiful and powerful and in their own way mothers and mothers to each other. But then you look at something like High Heels, which also stars Marissa Paredes from this film, and that's maybe the most fucked up
I haven't seen that one.
mom relationship, in which the Marissa Paredes' daughter grows up and marries Marissa Paredes' ex-husband.
Mm-hmm.
And then he dies, and there's a question as to which one of them killed him, like the whole movie.
Oh my god!
And that movie also features a musical number in a women's prison, as led by a trans woman, and it's fucking incredible.
Oh, awesome!
It's fucking incredible. He doesn't have a bad movie. Kika is very upsetting, but very funny. And The Skin I Live In is very sticky, but it's one of his like best and most important movies, and he made it right after a string of incredible melodramas. He'd been making comedies for years.
Yeah.
In the mid-90s, switched over to start making melodramas. Then All About My Mother was such a big hit, won the Oscar. Talk to Her wins the Oscar for Best Screenplay, which was very impressive for a non-English language film.
Yeah, very.
And then we get Bad Education, which is also a trans film with a certain degree of revenge, and pulp like melodrama, and then Broken Embraces and a few others. And that kind of peak reaches with The Skin I Live In, and it's very different from any of his other movies, I guess, than Talk to Her, because that also has some of the medical fetishism. Because that's the other thing. There's a great deal of fetishism in this film. This movie has the single most sinister depiction of vaginal dilators that I've ever seen and will ever see.
I never knew about vaginal dilators until last night, which of course makes sense considering how that surgery works. But I was like, oh, of course. But yes, it does feel very sinister.
He it's that like on the page, that scene is written like as like a trans woman post surgery would be like talking with her doctor. It's very important that you do this. It's very important that you move from this dilator to this dilator. Pretty standard stuff.
Yeah.
The way Antonio Banderas moves them out of the case and sets them all up, and then we get
it's like Saw or something when you're seeing like all the tools that will be used in your torture.
But they're just soft, small, little, and they're supposed to be
they're
ominous.
dildos, essentially.
Yeah, they're essentially. And the final one's not even that big.
Yeah.
But then we get the beautiful shot of like from the opposite end of the dilators, like out of focus, and Vera's face on the other side of them, like trapped, like prison bars of dilators. Which is something that is like A, beautiful, B, terrifying, and C, hilarious. Like, I know Almodovar's laughing at that. Like,
yeah. This movie's also important in terms of the relationship between Antonio Banderas and Pedro Almodovar because they hadn't made a movie together for 21 years before this, and they had been frequent collaborators, of course, in the 80s. And then he follows that up with Pain and Glory, which is in large part about his relationship with Antonio Banderas. But in that movie, Antonio Banderas plays him, essentially. So it's an interesting stop on this journey of a relationship between two artists that I think is really interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know if anything happened to them between the last movie and this, that they didn't work together for so long, but
I think it was just mostly Antonio Banderas moved to America.
yeah.
The last film they made together was Tie Me Up, Tie Me Down, Atame, in 91, and then 92 was Desperado.
Yeah, I mean, when I was Googling this movie, it said Antonio Banderas, best known for the Zorro films. And I was like, that can't be true, can it?
God, I hope not.
I can't. I forgot that those movies existed.
That man is from Spain.
He was a gigantic American movie star in the 90s.
It's so fascinating how
Interview with the Vampire and
Philadelphia.
Yeah.
All those Robert Rodriguez films.
Yeah.
He was such a big American action star for the majority of the 90s and early 2000s that it's so funny to then go back and watch Law of Desire or Women on the Verge of Nervous Breakdown or any of his Almodovar movies from before that, which are always like queer comedies in which Antonio Banderas is like losing his mind because his boyfriend has left him.
Yeah. He's one of the hottest people who's ever lived, including in this movie, including in Pain and Glory when he's like 60 years old or whatever. He's
so hot in Skin I Livid. He is like, I was thinking the entire time rewatching this that he is pulling like George Clooney levels daddy in this. Like, again, Almodovar has a huge mommy kink for a gay man, but this is his biggest daddy movie.
Yeah.
There's a scene in this movie after which, I mean, Antonio Banderas has looked hot this entire movie, but then he has to dispose of a body, and he comes back wearing all black and a black leather jacket and black leather gloves, and I was like, oh no, he's hot! Oh fuck! Oh shit! Well, if Antonio Banderas is out there and he ever wants to kidnap me and forcibly put me through some trans surgeries for free.
Yeah, shit, that's what I thought the whole movie.
I'll take him up.
These for free.
She got these for free. That ain't cheap. She got these for free, and she got tough skin. Good for her.
One of them, exactly, yeah, pig skin, tough pig skin, and one of the best surgeons in the world.
I mean, oh no, please don't kidnap me, Antonio. Please, whatever you do.
Well, listen, I loved this movie. Thank you so much for choosing it. I think it's time we pivot to our favorite game where we speculate whether or not people have seen this movie. Have they seen it? I have someone loaded up. I Googled literally famous people from Spain, and this one really surprised me. Because we think of this person as British, but lo and behold, she was born in Spain.
Oh.
Do you think Stranger Things star Millie Bobby Brown has seen The Skin I Live In?
Oh, I didn't know she was born. That makes sense. I do know she speaks Spanish. Okay, that makes sense. No way in hell.
I don't know much about her. Like, I can't tell if she's like sophisticated and cool for a teenager or not.
From my understanding, and this is as someone who's just like rudimentarily on the internet at best, that she does not have the most impeccable taste in the world. I would be surprised if she's seen any Almodovar film. She may have seen the most recent film of his.
Is Pain and Glory the most recent?
No, he oh my god, I'm such a bad gay. He did one recently. I saw it in theaters and I loved it and it was so good it made me cry and people were like, it's not as good as his others, and I was like, you're wrong. Parallel Mothers was his most recent. It came out last year.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think maybe Millie Bobby Brown has seen Parallel Mothers at best. I highly doubt she's seen his horror film from 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It doesn't strike me as something she would. What about you? Do you think she has?
No, but I bet her crazy stage mother has. I don't know that she has a crazy stage mother, but I imagine she does, and I think that she's seen it. That's kind of a boring one. Who do you have?
So I was thinking, this is such a trans film, but such a trans film from a perspective that is very nebulous and very, like, requires a good deal of complex thought and discussion that a lot of people, as we have pointed out can be very dismissive of it. So speaking of people who don't take complex thought and discussion around trans individuals and who suck ass, do you think famed transphobic British author J.K. Rowling has seen the skin I live in?
So when did the first Harry Potter book come out?
Like 98,
the late
right?
90s?
Late 90s, yeah.
Yeah. So this is 2011. I think so, because by then she's rich. She's like hobnobbing, presumably. I think yes. I don't have a great sense of why Turf Island got that way and when, because and by Turf Island listeners I mean England.
Yeah.
Because that seems to be the critical hub of TERFs online anyway.
It's because of the British press. It's because of the British tabloids.
Is it?
That's why.
Okay.
Yeah.
I at some point, without being told, I was like, just independently, I was like, why are all these TERFs from the UK? What is going on in that water? Where I was getting to is, I don't know if this movie came out before all of these women in England became TERFs. Because there might have been I feel like there was a time in J.K. Rowling's life when she was not a TERF. I feel like she has been sort of like, and I think most people have been sort of poisoned by this ideology.
I think
recent history.
I think that's to a degree, yes. I think it's less that these are new ideas that are being brought to these women, and more that they're being empowered to be more vocal about ideas they never thought about. That they,
I guess, yes. I guess I could see that too.
I was just
like
thinking
if you
of like to J.K. Rowling in 2006 or 2011, and we're like, "What do you think of transgender women?" She would be like, "What?" I think even because I mean, most people in America, if you went to them in 2006 and said that, they probably would not have a very good reaction.
Yeah, I knew trans people in 2000. I mean, I was living in Brooklyn and I was in my 20s, and so I knew a few trans people. And my feeling, I think, was like, God, they are so brave, honestly, which is sort of patronizing in a way. But I was like, I knew how hard my life was as a queer person. So I was like, God, that must take so much courage. So it wasn't really negative, but it was a little bit patronizing.
Yeah, but I mean, from like, if you, as someone who grew up in Indiana at the time, if you grabbed any like Joe Schmo off the street in the Midwest, and I vividly remember, in like 2010, 2011, or maybe even a little bit after, a famous football player was in like tabloid magazines for cheating on his wife with a trans woman. And there was like all of these tabloids about like caught with a she-male and like horrible slurs and things like that. And I just remember like I was working at a garage at the time, and that was like in the bathroom, like as like a periodical. And all the men in the shop were like, "That's fucking disgusting. Can you believe?" Like, and I just remember being like, "Y'all suck."
Even like people who weren't explicitly transphobic in that way. Like I remember Christian Siriano on Project Runway, his tagline the season that he won was like "hot tranny mess," and like that was like a cute, funny thing to say on Bravo in 2012 or whenever that was, so yeah, I think you might be right. I was just trying to I was thinking of like my relatives who I know used to be normal people and now are QAnon, Fox News people, and watching that media brainwashed them more or less over the past generation. So I was trying to give her the benefit of the doubt, I guess, but maybe I shouldn't have. So, yes, I think that she saw this movie, which is so funny to think about J.K. Rowling watching The Skin I Live In.
It's so funny because I like, that there's a lot of like protective queer individuals with very limited experience with trans individuals who are not transphobic, but will watch The Skin I Live In and be like, "That's movie so offensive, it's so transphobic." And they're coming from a place of being considerate and kind and respectful while also being reductive about a piece of art. So my brain is like, what would a TERF think about this movie?
Yeah, totally.
Would they be like, the most horrifying concept? These doctors are doing this all over the country.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, I think in their like adult brain, it's like it's in the name. It's feminism to them, right? Like they're protecting spaces that are meant for women, which is so stupid. I mean, like I don't know. I'm just trying to put myself in their shoes for a minute to think of how they would view this movie.
I feel like this
But
would
it's
be
hard
like
to
the
do.
ultimate horror movie to a turf, right?
It might be, yeah.
Which they should go watch it then. You should be scared if you're a turf. Perfect.
Yeah. I have somebody. This is somebody who I think the answer is probably yes, because they also worked with Almodovar and became a movie star in the United States. Javier Bardem. Do you think that he's seen it?
I'm certain he's seen it. Because his wife, Penelope Cruz, also works with Almodovar all the fucking time.
I had no idea they were married. That role was written originally for Penelope Cruz when he first conceived this movie in 2002. He didn't make it till 10 years later. So
that makes sense. Yeah. Oh, God, I would love to see that. I would also love to see like a stage production. This is very off topic, but I'd love to see a stage production of The Skin I Live In.
Ooh, do you know what? This could make a really great, earnest, not campy, really earnest musical. By like really some very sophisticated avant-garde.
That like body stalking the entire time. It's so much of her movements feel like interpretive dance. Like I would love to see a stage production of this with like a trans woman playing Vera. It would be incredible.
There was an opera that came from the UK, and I saw it at St. Anne's Warehouse in Brooklyn a few years ago of Let the Right One In. It was so beautiful, and if that team did this, it would be really cool.
That would be awesome. I'm just thinking of like Pina Bausch's The Skin I Live In as a ballet. Would be amazing. That's maybe the artsiest thing I've ever said in this entire podcast.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, Javier Bardem has definitely seen this movie. I think he adores it. Yeah.
There's a gif of him from an Almodovar movie that I've never seen, but he's like maybe a boxer or something, and you see his like giant hog through his shorts.
Oh, that's live flesh. That's live flesh.
It's so hot.
It's like a basketball player.
Oh yeah.
Live flesh is very underrated. There is a character who is in a wheelchair following a gunshot wound in that film who has one of the most meticulously set up and very like kind sex scenes I've ever seen. With incorporating like shower bars. Like they have like harnesses like built into their house for fellatio for this person who is in a wheelchair.
Ooh.
It's incredible. It's great. In that movie, Penelope Cruz plays Javier Bardem's mother.
Oh, interesting.
Anyway, I speaking of Myra Breckenridge and the history of trans women in screen, and the complicated history of that, Myra Breckenridge was famously written as a book by queer author and political candidate Gore Vidal.
I never knew that he ran for office.
Yeah, he did. I don't care for Gore Vidal as a person. He had some pretty he's very much the Bill Maher of the like 70s, where he was like
contrarian. He would go on talk shows a lot. And,
labeled himself as a liberal, but was incredibly conservative, and was always like, "I'm playing devil's advocate here," and you're like, "I think you believe that, sir." And later in life, got even more so. And he passed away in 2018, 2012, after this movie.
Yeah.
Do you think Gore Vidal would have seen The Skin I Live In?
I'm inclined to say no, just because it is rather late in his life when he's pretty old and not doing that well. Like if this had came out 10 years earlier, I would have said absolutely. Because however I might feel about Gore Vidal, in actuality, I don't know that much about him really. I feel like he did everything that there was sophisticated to do in New York for like his whole adulthood, basically.
I mean, he was a sophisticated New York queer who ran in those circles, so he's probably seen many an Almodovar film.
I feel like he would like Almodovar.
Yeah.
I assume that he would. I just feel like this is very late in life with him, so I would say probably not.
Later to the point where he couldn't be fucked too.
Yeah, I think he was. He had a foot out the door, so to speak.
I mean, I still remember seeing him do like interviews for things. I think he was maybe in the Tab Hunter documentary or some other.
Oh, was
like
he?
that.
I didn't see that.
Maybe he was in the Divine documentary or something. He was in one of those Jeffrey Shores documentaries.
Yeah. He also certainly loved camp and melodrama. So
mm-hmm. I could see him definitely seeing this movie, but I could also see him being very riled up and angry about this movie.
Really? I feel like he
or
would
him
like
celebrating this movie and being like, incredible, 5 stars.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love this movie. I think it's a delight, but I think it's very complicated. I think it's one that like deserves being revisited and discussed as much as possible.
I actually don't think it's complicated. I think it's very simple. I think it's made complicated by us, but the movie actually itself isn't that complicated. It's interesting. It's got a lot to talk about and to digest. So I guess in that way it's complicated, but it's an easy movie to follow. It's an easy movie to understand.
It's a very emotional movie. It's very like it's made by Almodovar in his melodrama period. Those movies never fail to get a tear out of me, but like for a like medical horror movie, this movie really knows how to pull those tears out of you. And the highest compliment I can give this movie is that I love Eyes Without a Face so much. Ever since I've seen The Skin I Live In, I think less of Eyes Without a Face.
Wow,
I think this movie does everything that movie is doing better, and that is...
Those are big words.
He hit the mark.
Well, I loved it too. Thank you so much for choosing it. I think that is it for this episode of Bloodhouse. Thank you so much for listening. Please rate us on Apple or wherever you listen to podcasts. You can email us at bloodhousepod@gmail.com. You can follow us on social. Drusilla, where can people find you?
I'm over on Instagram at Hyde Sister, HYDSISTER. And you can go over and find my art and design work over at sisterhydedesign.com. What about you, Josh?
I'm at Joshua Conkle on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. Now, next week, we're watching one of my very favorite movies. We're going back in time since we've been in the present for a while. What are we watching, Drusilla?
We are putting on our yellow rain slickers and praying at the Catholic Church so we can watch Alice, sweet Alice.
Yay! I can't wait for that.